Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. My name's Robert. I'm with the Hustle Nation here. We are all about creating financial independence, living in abundance, and the word that I really like the most is FIRE. Financially independent, recreationally employed, if you choose. So, this video is a day late. Normally, I always try to do something on money having to do with Monday. So we got Money Monday. And I have tried, well, no, I haven't tried. I've just been half-assed about it, real. And be totally honest, call a spade a spade. You know, I just haven't been very diligent with my channel. And I've tried to get kicked back up with, doing at least 2 videos a week. I think I've done that for the last 3 or 4 weeks, somewhere in there. I just need to make it a priority. What has been going on is I'm in the process of redoing my house. It's completely gutted, and I'm going to redo the kitchen and some other things. Just wanting it to get to the point where, for lack of better words, it's really nice. It's done. I'm proud of it, and moving on, so to speak. So there you have it. One of the things that, and this is something that a lot of people are missing out on, and it's actually what they've already been given. However, it's another nifty way the man has figured out how to relieve you of some of your money. 50 years ago, 70 years ago, there was a phenomena that occurred with people that would stay in one place 30, 40, 50 years. It was a reward for your tenacity, your diligence, your perseverance, your patience, your loyalty. They called it a pension. Generally speaking, the only places where you find a pension in the workplace any longer is through a municipality, such as a police department, sheriff department, county, state level. You get one with, if you work for the federal government, in the military as well. But what happened is, price, cost, everything started going up exponentially. However, profit did not. So, one of the things that people figured out, and we have a Social Security in place, and generally speaking, it's not going to be very much. It was just meant to be a subsidity, like a helper. Social Security was never designed to retire somebody fully and for them to make it off of that, okay? If I'm not mistaken, the most you can get for Social Security is like $4,200 a month, I think it's somewhere in there. And if I'm not mistaken, you had to be making like over $300,000 a year for a long time, for a number of years, and paying into that to be able to get that kind of a retirement. Most of the time, the average Social Security check in the United States is about $1,400. So can you imagine trying to make it on $1,400? Well, that's what you got to look forward to if your thinking for retirement is, well, I'm just going to work till I can collect my Social Security. Now, $1,400, and we'll just say like you need the $1,400 to exist. What happens if you have to wait till you're 70? Or, let me ask you this. What's your game plan if they bump it up to 72 or 74 years of age before you can start collecting? It's coming. Guaranteed, it is coming, okay? One of the things that has happened is they've used that money, and they continue to use Social Security like it's a built-in savings account that they can keep going to, but they're not putting money back into it. They don't take that money and invest it in anything as far as getting, a 8, 9, 12, 15% return on it. So, the other thing is that when Social Security started, There are people that paid into it for 2 years and then collected on it for 15 or 20 years. It's what we call a negative cash flow. Redneck Robert, I'm certainly no mathematician, but I figure if you only pay into something for 2 years, but you collect on it for 15, yeah, that doesn't make sense. So, and then, thankfully we're in a country that there's enough abundance and opulence out there that, if somebody's in a car wreck or say like, a father dies, no insurance or anything like that. There's, widow's benefits and survivor benefits, and the kids would get some money as well. Unfortunately, the byproduct of that is people don't ever take care of that themselves. They don't ever try to figure out how to make that happen themselves. And so we have a government that, is basically like as we call it, a welfare system. People don't do anything for it. So I'll say all of that for you to, and at least I would recommend this every 6 months, sit down and do a financial biography with yourself. Figure out, what do I got, what's coming in, what's going out, and when do I want to retire, and how much do I need, and you might surprise yourself, figure out, hey, I can retire sooner, earlier. Or you might figure out, oh, man, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to work what I thought. So the thing that I'm getting to is that they came out with a different product. It's called a 401k. Now, what it does is you take money out of your 401k or out of your paycheck, put into your 401k, and that lowers your taxable income. So if you make $50,000 a year and you put 10 grand into your 401k, well, guess what? You're only taxed $40,000. Okay? Pretty good, huh? I agree. The other thing that normally happens, not in all cases, but normally happens is that your employer will have a match that says basically we will match you dollar for dollar for every, for every dollar you put in there up until 6%. So whatever your 6% is of your pay, they're going to match you for dollar. Now, that is figured into your compensation package, okay? It's just not like money, okay? However, it's one of the things that they do, and they are counting on you not to do your employer match, okay? And I know there's people out there that's going to watch this and, man, there is no money left over at the end of the month. I am flat broke, living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm just not going to get ahead. I've talked to a lot of people having to do with finances, sat down with people, looked at, we did a budget, and there's one person that, for lack of better words, had like $70 left over at the end of the month. Everybody else had leaks in their budget as far as what they were spending money on. We were able to help them. We were able to get them on track. It's difficult. It's not fun. It sucks. However, it's extremely rewarding once you get to a place where you don't have financial stress any longer. And, the big thing is called, FU money. When you're in a position where you don't have to put up with your boss's crap because somehow he got into a position that he has no business being in, and you no longer have to put up with it because guess what? You're financially independent. You can walk at any time. You don't have to put up with that. You can change jobs. You can do whatever you want to. You want to take a month off, 2 months off, 6 months, a year. Guess what? That's what you get to do. So it's awesome. Well, the thing about it is that so many people not even take advantage of that employer match. So you are basically telling them it's okay for you to keep my money because it is figured in your compensation package, I guarantee, but you're not going to take it because you actually have to put forth some effort. You have to tell yourself, no, I'm not going to take this money and engage in consumerism. I'm going to take this money and engage in capitalism, building wealth, getting better, living in abundance, enjoying prosperity. And that's what ends up happening. And there are so many people that I talk to, oh, no, I'm not doing that right now. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to get this bill paid off. Try to I get it. I assure you. It was a very difficult process for me to change my mind and start looking at money differently. And, it's very hard to get out of the poor person mindset and the middle class mindset. Even though you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars, unfortunately, the majority of people are not going to change. They're going to stay there. That's how they were raised. That's the majority of the people that they associate with on a daily basis. It's rare that you go into a workplace break room and everybody's in there. Man, I just got paid $8,000 this morning in dividend stocks. We're thinking about this. We're thinking about going here. We're thinking about vacation. We're just going to take a whole month off. Most of the time it's, oh shit, this person's still on my ass. They're riding me. They're this, they're that. And, oh my God, these prices are just out of this world. And, how can you afford to buy groceries? And keeps it going on and on and on. Well, that's the environment that you come from. That's the environment that you subscribe to. It's best to be the dumbest person in the room and also the poorest person in the room. And if those aren't the rooms you're in, find a different room. Hope you're having a fantastic day. If you'd like 15 minutes of my time, send me an email. My email's in the description, and include your phone number and I will give you a call. Otherwise, have a wonderful day and let's get to being financially independent.